And we're back.
And we are back. We're so back. We are so effing back.
We're live. Welcome back, everybody, to
Wel-
SVT.
Welcome back, Sam.
Welcome back, me. Goodbye, Tyler. He had to take the
Man,
night off. He's not feeling too well.
sooner or later, it's going to be me that's out of here sick or something.
I
Like,
know
I
you.
don't know. I've been holding
You.
it down for a while, man. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to break down. I'm sure it's coming soon, though.
I think the only times you missed is like vacation
That's
stuff.
right. That's right. I work
Um,
through it. I play injured, baby.
yeah, for sure. You've been the Cal Ripken of this animal,
That's right. That's
the
right.
Iron Man over here. How was
Mhm.
your guys' weekend? Vince, how
Yeah,
was your weekend?
it was pretty good. Just I mentioned it last week. I've begun the hunt for a new car, and
Ooh.
that is continuing, and we'll see how that goes as it continues. Yeah, nothing
You
new to
guys still
report on
thinking about
that.
a Corvette?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to just finding the first vehicle I can that'll make sure that I wrap myself around a telephone pole like within 38 seconds.
Yeah.
Of getting it. That's the goal here. You know,
If you
as
ain't
a
first,
married
you're
man with
last.
responsibilities. Uh, that's the idea. So yeah. No, I just looking for something really sensible and it's gonna last me a while, and just something that'll check all the boxes. Don't need to get too
Reliable,
not trying to
fuel
get too deep in the weeds,
efficient.
but let's you know how it goes though. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. How about you? What'd you get yourself
Man,
into this weekend?
banged out a bunch of side projects, so that was great to put a period on those.
Right.
And honestly, I have to say I'm just really excited that football is so close.
So close.
It's like it's right there. We're gonna talk a little bit about football as training camp opens for all of our teams, but let's uh let's open up the show, Vince. We're gonna start with some NBA stuff. So why don't you get us started with that?
Yeah. So we're gonna start wider with the NBA in general, with the board of governors meetings that happened last week, and it sounds like ex- expansion may not be quite as imminent as we once thought it might be. It's still coming, but maybe not for another couple of years. Everybody at first thought it was going to be like, you got the new TV contract and it's just going to happen right away, like right after that. But no, not quite yet. We're going to pump the brakes on that. Uh, it sounds like James Dolan is reportedly among the ringleaders slowing down the process. They kind of want to see what the new money from the national deals kind of plays out for the first couple of years. The local deals are falling apart, right? Like we've talked about it before. The RSNs, the regional markets, the
Right.
money they're just bleeding out from all of those. So they kind of want to see what the new national money looks like and what the fallout is from all of that, and then kind of determine how it goes from there, what the new money looks like from there, and then after that, that's when they'll kind of circle back around to that is what it sounds like. They don't kind of want they don't want to dilute their cash flow from the new national deals, at least not immediately. They want to they kind of want to secure see what it looks like first, and then be able to adjust accordingly, I guess is the idea. So and when it's explained to me like that, I don't love it, but it makes sense. I mean, the NBA has been sitting at 30 teams since they brought the Charlotte Bobcats into the league, and
Right.
then when was that? That was like 2006, maybe it was 2008, something like that. I mean, that was Charlotte got that team after they lost the Hornets to New Orleans, right? So and then they were able to get the Hornets name back a few years later when the Hornets became the Pelicans, and then through
I forgot that
yeah,
I remember there was an episode we talked about this. I forgot they even existed and got the team back.
right. Yeah, so that was a whole thing, and It's funny you mentioned that. I actually, when we go to the WNBA in a little bit, I actually have a breakdown of the league and how the teams have moved around and contracted and expanded and stuff too. I kind of have that whole timeline as well, because the WNBA is expanding. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But on the men's side of it, it is a situation we know they're going to expand. It feels like Seattle is a done deal, for one of those expansion sites. That they have the arena in place. They, there's plenty of people, billionaires. They have the corporate, sponsors and sponsorship
Right.
right. It's just a matter of the league, giving them the go ahead to do it, at this point. So, and just saying this billionaire, yes, you can do it, like because there's plenty of billionaires up in Seattle, and it's the same thing in uh probably Las Vegas. They don't have the arena quite yet, but there are like several different plans, and they can work out a deal to temporarily play where the Golden Knights play, until they get a basketball specific arena, which is what it sounds like they want to do. They want to have a basketball specific arena in Las Vegas if Las Vegas ends up being the 32nd team. But Seattle is an absolute done deal as far as anybody who follows knows, like, so.
Right.
And then Las Vegas feels like it's going to be the next one, and in that case you would probably shift Memphis over to the east, and then you have 16 teams in the east, 16 teams in the west, and you probably do, um you probably break it up how you break up basketball, how you break up hockey, and have two divisions and then 8 teams in each division, and just kind of break it up like that. I think that's probably the cleanest way to do it. So yeah.
I mean, with the NBA, like more than half the league makes the playoffs. So, I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's probably the easiest way to do it. I just wish it was like a little harder to get into the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think the NBA would do something like kind of what the WNBA is doing, where they're laying out a roadmap of teams that are going to be coming into the league, and it's going to be a little unbalanced, so you got
Like they might do one team and then like stagger them a little bit. I mean, it's possible. They were rolling with 29 teams for a little while there. I mean,
right,
it's not unheard of. There's it's not like with baseball or football where yeah, if there's an odd number of teams, the schedule gets really unbalanced, so like you could get away with it in a sport with as many games like hockey or basketball as there are. You can get away with it. You can build the schedule to work around it, and you can have on the final day of the season, if one team isn't playing, they can play like, a day or two before, and, somebody just finishes their schedule a day early, or whatever. Or maybe it's 3 teams, 4 teams finish early, whatever the math is to make it work right. Somebody plays a double, plays a back to back, and it kind of sucks for that one team. But maybe, I mean, there's ways to work around it. It is
sure,
possible. I don't know if the league necessarily wants to do that. I think it's cleaner if you bring 2 teams in at once, and then you just have one, bigger, um, you know, uh, uh, the
the entrance fee,
the draft. Yeah, yeah, the expansion draft is what I was looking for. You have the one big expansion draft where each team can lose one player basically, and the 2 expansion teams are basically fighting it out over each other, like with each other too. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship in there. Like if somebody said, if the Seattle team takes somebody from the Warriors, then the Vegas team can't take anybody from the Warriors either. So so
right,
they're kind of locked out. Like there's a little bit of gamesmanship there as well too. I mean, so it's not sort of locked in, that way too. So they kind of gotta like play the game a little bit too. So I mean, I think it could be it would be more interesting. I think if especially if it's like done live and they have to like, I don't know, show their work for lack of a better term. I think that would be more. more fun to see them kind of work it out live and like whatever, whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be fun. I think at least for the fans, that would be cool to see. Yeah.
absolutely. All right, man. There's really one free agent note. Why don't we hit that? Then we'll move on to some Warriors stuff.
Yeah, it is Dame Lillard. He's coming home, right? He's going back to Portland. So they signed him 3 years and $42 million. He's going back. That first year he'll be spent rehabbing his leg. And they kind of deferred almost all of that money to the second and third years. So like I think he's getting like vet minimum on the first year. So almost all of that money is going to be paid on the second and third year. So it makes sense to break it up that way. So he's, it's a place he's familiar with. It's a team that is hoping to like build like they're trying to trend back up, right? Like they were on a downswing and now they're trying to build it back up, right? And he gets to come back in as the legend of the franchise and kind of tutor, mentor, whatever the young kids how to like what the importance of the franchise to the city of Portland and all those cliches that you talk about as a veteran of the city and of the franchise and all that good stuff. So I think
It's funny how like
it
they traded him away and
yeah.
then like traded was it Drew Holiday and then
Uh-huh.
traded for him and now they're all on the same team. So it's like they got everybody that they traded away, traded for.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It like I guess like it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense because you are a younger team, and I know you traded for some veterans, and you're trying to get back on that upswing. I don't know. I guess it's one of those wait and see type deals. I think for for Dame, it was probably a comfort thing of like the rehab and familiarity of like going back to the market and being on the West Coast again. So I guess it makes sense from that point of view, but I thought from the Trailblazers, like it didn't make much sense for me, but what the hell do I know? I'm just on a YouTube show.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else really there is to add to that. I think that's basically it, right? Like
Yeah.
he's yeah,
I was
it
actually
really
hoping he
could
would like sign a vet minimum with the Warriors to see what to see what the second year would look like as him and Steph and Jimmy Butler and Draymond next year, but I think that wasn't going to happen because he's from the market. He's from the Bay Area. And even then, he would still be in the shadow of Steph Curry with everything that he accomplished. So I didn't expect that. I was hopeful.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's just that would be a little bit of a tough ask, I think,
Yeah,
for him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just the second fiddle thing. I don't, I
for sure.
that's tough for anybody, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I didn't expect it. It was more or less like wishful thinking out of like fandom greed. Just so I could get that basketball card or jersey or something,
Right.
Yeah. All right, Vince, just moving on a little bit. Golden State Warriors, Jonathan Kaminga update. So it's being said via multiple media outlets, and this is just speculation, I'm gonna say. I haven't seen anything like official, but it's being rumored that JK wants 30 million per year in a new contract and that he does not want to come back to the Golden State Warriors. It's being also said that the Warriors are more in line to provide a $20 million a year contract, and that's kind of what the league is looking at, is that he's probably about a $20 million per year player. What makes it even extra spicy for the Golden State Warriors is if you do sign Kaminga to this $30 million per year contract, it becomes way more difficult to do a sign and trade. because of
Yeah.
the contract that is coming back. So now you need more money coming back, um, which makes it difficult for both parties. Which means it's hard for the Warriors to take on more money because of that second apron, and then it makes it harder for the other team because you're signing Kaminga as a young player, and you probably want to add him to your young core, which then means you're giving away a veteran or a younger player that just signed a new deal. So it's like it's kind of like a nothing burger for both sides. So that's kind of where we're at with this. Jonathan Kaminga unfortunately picked the wrong year to be a free agent.
Right,
There's just
yeah, yeah,
not a lot
it's
of money
kinda
going around.
it's no man's land, almost. He's gonna hold out at least for a little while, right? And he's gonna because he's restricted free agent, right? So he he's kind of he's under the Warriors' control, but not like he's not under contract, but kind of is, but kind of isn't. So like I mean it's that weird
Let me ask you
middle,
this.
yeah.
If there was $30 million a year out there for him, don't you think a team would have offered that? And then the Warriors could have had the opportunity to match it or not, or work out a trade? Because free agency is like gone. There's still room to do moves. There's all these dates with the NBA, and if you sign a guy or trade a guy past this date or that date, it's better for your cap or whatnot. So we know that the NBA and the Warriors are going to have options, but I feel like when teams had the money, they would have had the opportunity to sign him to a deal and work out a trade, and that clearly didn't happen. So I'm kind of in line to believe that the other teams, the rest of the league, really doesn't see him as a $30 million per year player.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think that they don't want to pay him that. That's for sure. They don't see him as that much, and I think the rest of the league probably sees him right around where the Warriors do, is probably closer to 20. You know, so that becomes real tough if you're Jonathan Kaminga. And if at best you can get 22,
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here then? At that point,
I
it's
think
like
the best
that's
thing
real
he can
tough.
do is sign what
Like,
he can get with the Warriors and
mhm.
probably have to come back, even though it's being said he doesn't want to. Come back to the Warriors and ball out and get traded later in the year. Your value goes up, so maybe you're helping the Warriors win, and the Warriors can get more back in return, and you go to a team that can sign you a year or two later to a bigger deal. Um, but Jonathan Kaminga, as Warriors fans, we've seen the flashes of ability, but
Mhm.
I've still yet to see a game that he just took over and dominated beginning to end.
Yeah.
There's been quarters, there's been halves,
Yeah, he
but
has
like
moments here and there, yeah, for
I'm
sure,
talking
but
a whole game where it was just wow, amazing. He dominated. Give him the money. Like our partner who's not on tonight is a huge Jonathan Kaminga fan. I think we're all fans because we're fans of the Golden State Warriors. And as a player that you draft, right, we're always rooting for the players to succeed. You want them to be successful because we never want to stop winning. So we are JK fans. We want him to do well and with our team. But we're still hesitant. Like I don't think any Warriors fan is like give it to him. Give him the bag because we're not sure that this guy is going to be the guy that takes over for Steph and beyond.
yeah.
There's still those question marks. So if we have those question marks and we watch most Warriors games, like what does the league say who watches all of these games? Scouts. So I think like he's unfortunately in a really tough spot and is in truly still in a prove it season where he has to become more consistent. He has to become a better defender. He has to be a better shooter. He has to pick better scoring moments. And he did really well in the playoffs. Not having any any game, any games played, just sitting to the sideline for, how many, I think the final 3 games of the season he didn't get to play. It was just DNPs. And then
Yeah.
you he only got into the game because of injuries, and he provided some offense. He did provide some offense, but it's still inconsistent. It hasn't been a consistent, dominant for weeks on stretches that we see from other players who are getting $30 million a year. So my final thing is he's still in a prove it status to get this new contract. So hopefully next week
Yeah.
we have more information about it, but I don't think so. I think this is going to bleed out for a couple more weeks, to be honest.
Yeah. This is probably something we're going to be talking about for a while, I think. Yeah.
For sure. All right, brother. Let's move on to the Golden State Valkyries. You got a
Yeah.
couple of updates for us there, so why don't you take it from there?
I do. I do. So, let's start with the scores last week. They lose both of their games they played. They were hosting the Mercury on Monday night. They lose that game by 1. And when you look at like the box score itself, when you dive a little bit deeper, uh obviously it's a close game. You look at it, it's back and forth, right? It was it the way it ended is kind that's how it's really tough, right? Like it ends on a foul call basically, and it was kind of a soft call, right? Is a bit of a Charmin call, is what I have been known to scream at the TV. It's kind of rough to see a game end like that. Veronica Burton just went bonkers and and ends the uh excuse me, not for Burton. Janelle Salon, she hit a three with 10 seconds left. Uh the Valkyries play the foul game. Phoenix misses one of two free throws, and then Salon hits the game tying bucket with 6 seconds left, and then Phoenix draws another foul and then splits those free throws again, and that's how the win gets secured there. So that's kind of that's how the game ends. And I actually have um uh the head coach of the Valkyries, Natalie Nakasi, says she said, to sit there and watch someone win a game off of a free throw, that's a disservice. I'm begging for consistency, is was the quote after that game. So the head coach not thrilled with the inconsistent officiating, and it's something that you've noticed, something that I've noticed, something that a lot of people have noticed. And
It's really bad.
the
It's really bad in the WNBA. The officiating is horrible.
Yeah, so they need to make some improvements there. That's certainly
There
one
was
of
a
the
game a
sticking
couple
points.
weeks ago, a Valkyrie game, Vince, where like the referees, they forgot which side that the teams were on. Like they didn't know if, the Valkyrie are going left to right or right to like, they had to stop, go to the video prompter and what are we doing? Like I know accidents happen, but like how do you forget who's
Yeah,
so there's just been really bad calls and missed calls and oops, too many oops moments. You can't have that. So WNBA definitely needs to improve the officiating because the sport is getting better. It is growing. The fans deserve better. The players deserve better.
yeah. And then as far as the second game, it was a loss at the Seattle Storm, 67-58. I didn't get a chance to watch that game, unfortunately. The Valkyries are they shoot like they're top 3, I think, or maybe top 2 in terms of number of threes taken. They're also, I believe, the second worst in terms of 3-point percentage in the league. So they're a volume shooting 3-point team. And so they're just kind of live by the 3, die by the 3. That certainly didn't help a lot. It didn't really matter that much. They only took two more than Seattle in this game. They made the same number, seven each. But let's see, you had five fewer free throws attempted. You get out rebounded by three, so that's pretty close. Turnovers, you lose that one by four. Points in the paint, you had the advantage there. Second chance points, 11-0. That's where it is. Second chance points. That's where you lose the game right there. 67-58 final, you lose by nine. You lose the second chance point battle, 11-0. That's basically it right there. Just kind of looking at it right there, just like that. Yeah, Cecilia Zandalicini had 12 points to lead the way. Your top scorer can't have just 12 points. Also, that's not great. Veronica Burton had 8 rebounds and 4 assists in the as well to help out. Also, yeah, it's just overall an underwhelming performance heading into the break. So they lost 3 heading into the All-Star break. So that brings us to All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend was kind of interesting, kind of fun. They had the 3-point competition and the skills competition. The entire skills competition night or whatever, like all that stuff was done in about 70 minutes. So they actually asked the commissioner about that, and the commissioner said, yeah, I think we can expand it a little bit more going forward now. So yeah, the teams, there's 13 teams now. There's going to be 15 teams in the league next year. They only had 5 players participating in each event. They're going to expand it probably to 8 next year, make it more on par with what the men do, so for the 3-point contest, Walnut Creek's own Sabrina Ionescu gets the job done. She won it in 2023. She did not participate in 2024. She wins it again in 2025. It's not technically a back to back, but for her it is a back to back.
Right.
So she has 2 now. So that's good for that's a nice little piece of hardware going onto the trophy. So to
It's
go
gonna
along
be
with the
really
ship,
cool when she wins it next year in a Valkyrie jersey.
One can only hope. One can only hope. Yeah. And then the All Star game itself. There, there, the Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier drafted their own teams. Team Collier beat Team Clark 151-131. L. Duncan from ESPN had maybe the funniest comment of the entire game, basically, that I saw. She said, like a girl's trip to Cancun right now, there's no D. It was very, very good. I saw that. I lost it. That was very, very good. Yeah. So just all offense in that game, all gas, no breaks. And that was on live television too, so we love that. Yeah, so there was doubles aplenty to be had. Man, it was just kind of wild. I was I just like the entire event, you get 131 on the losing team, 151 on the winning team. I mean, uh it's where do you begin? Like the losing side had like 4 double doubles. I mean, um
And this is why I
well,
don't watch
yeah,
All-Star games.
yeah, All-Star games are kind of rough, right? I mean, I'm trying to like be excited about it and like, talk it up or whatever, right? Because this is part of my personal mission is to talk up women's sports, right? But it's an all-star game. Like all-star games are all-star games. It's they are what they are, and yeah, I mean the skills competitions, the 3-point contest, those always intrigued me more than the
Absolutely.
actual all-star games themselves. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. That's kind of what it's always been for me and what it continues to be at this point. It was way more exciting on Friday than it was on Saturday. And that was the trend and that continues to be the trend going forward. So yeah, that's the story from All-Star Weekend. Uh Upcoming schedule for the Golden State Valkyries, you have the Dallas Wings coming to Valhalla on Friday, and then you're going across the country to play a Sunday morning game at the Connecticut Sun. Hopefully you get both of these W's because these are both bottom dwelling teams. Right now, the Valkyries are currently sitting in ninth. They are just outside of the playoffs. They need to get back on the winning train and get back in there. Can they bounce back? They closed out the first half on three losses, right? So get back above 500, right? Let's put some pressure back on the Aces and uh whoever else may decide to fall back a little bit. Yeah, that's the story from the WNBA. Also, Caitlin Clark didn't play in the All Star game too, so that was an interesting side note that kind of people kept talking about, but that didn't really matter that much because nobody plays defense anyway. So who cares? Yeah.
I think she's
Okay.
hurt, right? She's hurt anyway, so
Yeah, she hurt her. She hurt her groin. She came back. She hurt her groin again, and
yeah.
that was the story. We moved on. That's why I barely even mentioned it. It's a throw in anyway. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the teams that they could be catching, the Aces are at 500. They're 11-11. Yeah, you're only one game back of the Aces. Same with the Washington Mystics. They're also at 500 at 11-11. Indiana Fever are 12-11. They're only a game and a half ahead of the Valkyries. So those teams are all within range. So like I would think the Washington Mystics and the Aces are those are the two teams that are right there and could be caught. The Mystics more so because they're both being led by rookies, and Kayla Thornton, coming off of the double double in the All Star game, could maybe spark the Golden State Valkyries to catch them, and especially if the longer WNBA season catches up to those rookies in Washington, maybe they feel a little bit more of the exhaustion as the season wears on. Who knows? Maybe that's where you catch them, and maybe that's the Valkyrie sneaking into the playoffs as the 8th seed. That's kind of who I'm circling preliminarily as the team you could catch and sneak into the playoffs ahead of. So,
For sure. All right, man. Take us over to soccer.
all
You
right.
got quite a
Y-
bit the update coming up.
Yeah. So, even though Bay FC hasn't played any NWSL games, they did have one summer friendly game against Angel City, and they ended up getting a tie in that game. Penelope Hawking scored the game tying goal in the second half. She gathered a perfect pass from Maddie Moreau over the top, and then she just one touch strikes it into the net. It's quite a thing of beauty on Instagram if you want to go check it out. Uh, it was just the finish. It was, you watch it, you do the chef thing, the Italian, and then the celly after was great. Uh, uh, they they played the Urawa Red Dragons from Japan on Sunday, a game that we're going to.
Yeah.
Yes, gonna get those bucket hats, the
Hello
Hello Kitty
Kitty
bucket
bucket
hat.
hats.
That's right. Looking forward to that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have my work phone on me, so that'll be good too. Gonna gonna stay busy, stay working. That's good. The next NWSL match will follow be in the following week. The NWSL regular schedule picks back up, and then we'll be a little bit more attentive of that. There was a couple of notes here, though. Bay FC acquired forward Onyeka Gamero for an undisclosed transfer fee from FC Barcelona. She's a SoCal native. Spent the last 2 seasons in Spain. She began her career with FC Barcelona B in June 2023. She's played 9 games with 2 goals and 1 assist before suffering a torn ACL in that fall. And she's already in the Bay Area completing her recovery. Um, she was a highly regarded youth prospect. She committed to Stanford prior to signing the pro contract, and she was on the U.S. under 17 youth national team at the 2022 World Cup. She also scored in one of the wins. She was also on the U20 ranks in 2023. Let's see. She played in all 5 of those games in the under 23 tournament championship tournament. She got a goal and 2 assists in that tournament, qualifying for the 2024 under 20 World Cup. Let's see. She's a 2-time nominee for U.S. Soccer Young Player of the Year in 2022 and 2023. Other players nominated for that same award have already become everyday players in the NWSL. Players like Olivia Moultrie, Ali Sentnor, Jaden Shaw, Alyssa Thompson, Savvy King, former Bay FC player. This new player, they're hyping her up big time. So yeah, looks great, man. They Bay FC also signed Leah Freeman, who's a goalkeeper. So that's good news. They needed to sign her because Melissa Lauder, who was one of the initial players they took in the expansion draft last season, underwent another surgery on her knee, and that's going to cause her to miss the remainder of the season. She still hasn't played a game for the team yet. She was working her way back from the knee surgery last year, and just hasn't been able to play yet. So just kind of adding more depth goalkeeping, which is, you can never have too much depth at goalie. They extended another contract to Caroline Conti through 2027 as well. So the front office has stayed busy. Also in Africa, Rachel Kundananji stayed busy. She's scoring goals. Same with Asisat Oshawala. She's been scoring goals as well over in Africa for their own countries as they're uh, going through AFCON through the tournament over there. Everybody's talking about the Euros. Same thing is happening in Africa as well. They're playing their championship as well. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening there. Those tournaments are wrapping up. So soon those players will be coming home, and then we'll get back to the regular season schedule.
Yeah, hopefully they carry over this scoring into the regular season. That'd be win
Yeah,
some big time games.
I need some. Yeah, we need some goals, man. This is they only have 14 goals in 11 games, and it's they need some goal. They need to start scoring goals big time, and hopefully adding. The player that they just added on Gamero, she's not ready to play yet. I think this is a move for next season, more likely. But just having Kundananji, seeing the ball go into the back of the net, same with Oshawala, just hopefully just seeing it happen for him just kind of sparks something. Sometimes that's all you need, right? Like we talk about that in basketball a lot, right? When a shooter is cold, sometimes just seeing the ball go through the net just kind of sparks something, jump starts it, right? And hopefully that's what this tournament does for both of those players. Because if we can get them going, suddenly you can turn this thing around a little bit. You look at the standings. Bay FC is only 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. There's 13 games played. There's 13 games still to go. So the season's halfway done. You're only 3 points out of a playoff spot. That's one win. Okay. You're one game out of a playoff spot, really. As far as the goal differential goes, you're -3 in goals right now. So you've so that's not great, obviously, but you can make up a -3 goal differential That's not terribly difficult. You can get back to even pretty quickly, especially if you have just one blowout. You get one 3 goal victory. Houston Dash, they're not a good team. That's the team that you're playing in a couple of weeks. So hopefully, if they, you beat Houston 3-0, suddenly you're back at 500. You're right there. You're right in the mix. All of a sudden, um, like the opportunity is there. That's basically the long story short. The opportunity is there. I hope that they can get it sorted out.
Absolutely. All right, Vince. Hockey. We've been very excited for hockey. Um, Schedule release. The San Jose
Yeah.
Sharks. I'm definitely gonna have to go through this schedule. As some of you know, we used to, my partner and I and friends, we used to take our vacations like with the A's. We would go on the road and see other teams and stadiums. We ain't doing that for them anymore. They could kick rocks. So now we're gonna start traveling with the Sharks. So I gotta look at the schedule and start planning a vacation.
Mhm. I mean, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because I was looking at my birthday, which is they happen to be playing at Columbus. Columbus. I don't want to go to Columbus, but I mean, my sister lives out in Ohio. I mean, I suppose I could make something work there. I suppose, I might be able to. I could probably justify that. Yeah, yeah. I'll think about that. Anyway, um, yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's definitely some cool cities that they do go to, though. I mean, obviously, there's you can look at the schedule. I mean, you got games in at Anaheim in April, toward the end of the season. You're at Chicago in at the end of the season, April 15th. That game could be really huge for the standings. You know, loser of that game could end up getting if both teams are as bad as everybody thinks they will be, like that, the loser of that game could end up getting the first overall, like be in line to get the first overall pick. I
Yeah.
don't think the Sharks are going to be quite that bad. I think the Sharks are going to be well clear of that. But the Chicago Blackhawks could be that bad. So it could matter for them. I don't think it's actually going to matter for the Sharks quite as much. That's my too early to predict prediction, I guess. There's no way for me to know that for sure, but that's kind of my early thought on that. But I mean, the promo schedule specifically, that's there's some fun stuff that it's happening. You look at obviously opening night. There's always something pretty cool happening there. There's a bobblehead they're giving away on opening night, and it's the slumber party bobblehead. Is what it is, man. So like for those who know. So it's Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, like both of their heads bobble and they're like sharing like it is it they haven't shown us the actual bobblehead yet, but like they've shown us a drawing of it. So it's a shark sleepover bobblehead is what they're calling it. And then there's pregame festival outside of the arena, and it's against Vegas. So what more could you want? It's a rivalry game as well. So that's going to be a huge game to go to. Uh, Fan
The
appreciation night is the
October
last.
11th game looks pretty. You get a mini folding chair for WWE.
Yep, yep, that's gonna be fun. Los Tiburones night. That's always a fun design that they give away on the 18th. Uh, the the game that I always like circle is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. That's November 2nd, Sunday, November 2nd against Detroit. That's a 5 p.m. drop, so that's an earlier game. That's a scarf. They're giving away a scarf for that one. So that, and it's against the Red Wings too. So that's an old school rivalry there. That'll be fun. That's kind of nice. Let's see. Native American Heritage Celebration is the night before as well. On November 1. So there'll be a bandana for that game as well. So I mean, like they're doing a lot of different like fun giveaways, and there's always going to be more giveaways that they announce as the season
And the
goes along
shark
too.
K-pop and anime night?
Yes,
You know
yeah, I
I'm
didn't even
in.
get to that. I was about to, yeah. Yeah, and then I
Oh.
mean that doesn't even bring up the like they do a couple of Bay Area Unite games. Like they're doing one with the Earthquakes, and they're doing another one with the Niners as well. The first responders night, educators night, fan appreciation night, next gen night. So there's all kinds of fun stuff. We'll look at the schedule itself. Um, and we'll figure out what games we're going to actually go to and go from there. I know me and my brother we'll probably be going to the Hockey Fights Cancer night if we can. I don't know if we can or not, but I think we might be busy that day actually, now that I think about it. I don't think I'm going to make it to that game now that I'm remembering something else happening that day, but that's another story for another time. um yeah. So but yeah, there's all kinds of fun events, fun giveaways for the Sharks that I'm looking forward to going to. So yeah, good
Yeah, it
times.
looks fun. I can't wait to start picking out which games we're gonna be able to circle and go to and definitely get some road games in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for is get on the road.
Mhm.
All right, Vince. Couple football notes and spring training and mini camp is it's starting. So what's going on in football right now? I got a couple questions for you about the 49ers and
Yeah. Okay, so
myself. So
I mean, first off, Jawan Jennings, uh he wants either a raise or a trade. Um and basically what's happening here is he sees an opportunity to get a little more money, so he's trying to get a little more money. And I don't blame him for doing it because Brandon Ayuk is on the PUP. And surprisingly, Ricky Pearsall is on the PUP as well. So that one surprised me a little bit. I didn't expect him to be on the PUP to start training camp. So Jawan Jennings is crucial, especially to start the year. He's not going anywhere. A couple of teams have asked, and I was like, no, get the hell out of here. We're not trading him. So so he's gonna be with the team. They're gonna probably they're gonna figure something out. I'm certain of it. That being said, figure it out fast, guys. You know you're gonna end up giving him a little bit more money. Just figure it out now. Damn it. I hate having to deal with this crap, you know? Um damn. Okay.
yeah.
There we go. So that
And he's been a guy that's been, like, really consistent
oh
and
yeah.
really durable, and you haven't had any issues. I feel like out of you don't wanna go you just giving money away for whatever, but, like, I feel like he's one of the guys that's, like, he's earned a raise, and I know it's been relatively recent when he got his new deal, but I feel like he's earned it with all the injuries and consistency on his part and playing through things and being a wide receiver that blocks. He does all the things you ask him to do. Keep him in your program. He's good for the program. He's going to be good for Ricky Pearsall and these younger guys that are coming up. Um, you know, pay that man his money.
Yeah. I'll
If anybody
splash the
can name where
pots
that's
whenever
from,
the I want.
splash the pot.
Yeah,
If
that's
anybody
right.
can name that movie, get
Uh,
into the chat.
that's right. Oh man. Yeah, so all right, looking bigger picture, um TJ Watt gets paid, making he's the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Good on you, bud. It's kind of funny. I bet the Steelers just like when they drafted him, they were just like, sure, let's just get JJ's brother. Yeah, throw him on the roster. Sure, why not? That's a uh, a family name pick. Sure, why not? And turns out this could be a Hall of Famer type pick. Yeah, so good on them and good on TJ for getting paid. So you know, out of bed.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
he reset the market twice as a defensive player, And here's the Dallas Cowboys on the outside, like, ooh, now we got to pay Micah Parsons, because if TJ Watt got that, and you're Micah Parsons and you're younger,
Mhm.
like, you're like, dude, I want that because I'm younger.
Yeah, match me.
So
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just now. I know, the Raiders took care of Max Crosby, and like when they paid him, he was like the highest paid player for about 5 minutes.
right. Yeah,
Now it's like the Raiders got a discount. Where I look at the money,
truly.
and it's like, dude,
Yeah, yeah,
what a
yeah,
discount!
yeah. Basically, the only way to get a discount is to do it early. That's really it.
Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they did. So,
Mhm,
and that kind of leads me into a couple of questions for you and myself. It's kind of
mhm.
the same question. Um, what's your vibe going into the off, into now that spring training is right around the corner or kind of started.
Training
Um,
camp, not spring training.
training camp is starting. You know what? I looked at your next note and had baseball in my mind.
Yeah,
Um, uh, training camp is here. I know you got some contract stuff with the 49ers. I would think you guys have to look at yourselves as, contenders again. But
yeah.
what's your kind of state of the of the franchise this early? Way too early predictions or statements or anything that's of substance.
Here's the thing: the Niners have the easiest schedule preseason. Looking at it just on paper, this is the easiest schedule that anybody's had in the history of ever. Okay, like just looking at it on paper, because of the easy schedule and because of just like the top end talent that the Niners have. When you look at um, all the glowing reports about Christian McCaffrey's health, even after like just last year's injury kerfuffle, whatever. And that wasn't just him. You look at uh Brock's got a new contract. You got Bryce Huff lining up opposite Nick Bosa on the other side. Uh Juwan Jennings, and if Pearsall's able to actually go for week one, and then if they can hold it down, George Kittle's looking good. All of a sudden, I think I mean, I think that there's enough pieces there, especially with the easy, soft as Charmin schedule that the Niners have. There is no reason at all why Las Vegas has like the Niners at they set the over under at 10.5 wins, and I'm taking the over. Okay, that's
Yeah.
like I'm easily taking the over because I think the Niners get at least 12. Okay, that's where I'm at. Like like I think if as long as the Niners can can have anything resembling 2023 level of health, they can get to they can get to 12 wins no problem. And that's truly where I see them. And then it becomes a question of where does 12 wins, 13 wins get you versus the rest of the NFC, not just the NFC West, but the NFC in general. I think 13 wins probably gets you the NFC West. 13 wins should get you the NFC West. 12 wins might get the job done. It depends what the Rams do. I think Seattle's taking a huge step back this year. Um,
I agree.
uh, yeah, I think Arizona maybe takes a step or two forward, but I think they're gonna. I think those two teams are kind of going to be even. So it just becomes a question of what's going on with the Rams. Where are the Rams at? I think the Rams probably are good. Like, I'm not going to make a prediction on whether they're a playoff team yet or not, but I think they probably do end up being one. So it just kind of depends on how that shakes out. I think that, like I said, if the Niners get 12 wins, that's probably a playoff team. That's probably a division winner. 13 wins is definitely a division winner. and then it just becomes a question of the Eagles in the East, like how many wins do they have? Uh it like you look at the NFC South, I don't see like the Buccaneers have been running the South for the last half a decade almost now at this point. I don't see, like maybe Atlanta steps up a little bit, but I don't see them getting up to 13 wins, either of those teams. I think that's more of an 11 win ish team on the outside for the Bucks. Atlanta maybe gets up to 9 wins, maybe 10. If Tampa falls off a little bit, like so, I don't see them challenging for the number one seed. Maybe 13 wins is enough to get the job done. You look at the NFC North, it's the Lions, and then it's the Packers, the Vikings. That's a really tough division. Do those teams beat each other up enough that maybe the winner of that division only ends up with 12 wins or 13 wins because they were just beating each other up and nobody gets up to 15 this year. I don't know.
Right.
So that's I'd have to sit down and look at their schedules and just kind of work that out, see what actually, what do I think is the most realistic outcomes of that. So it's kind of tough. 13 wins, I don't know if that's enough to get the number one seed. 13 wins is definitely enough to, I think, win the division. And I think that's what the Niners have their sights set on is they have a realistic shot at winning the division if for no other reason than the top end talent and the softest Charmin schedule. So that's
Yeah.
my expectation for the Niners. Um, so let's spin it on you.
Um,
When you look at the Raiders, um, what do you going into minicamp? How are you feeling? I'll
I'm
tell you
feeling
right
really
now.
good, man. I'm feeling really good. I know you got to earn your respect, right? And for God knows how long the Raiders have just been dead on arrival. And I'm not saying like right now they're going to go in and win the AFC West and become, a contender. There's always those stories of last to first and whatnot. I think it's way too early to say that that's what's going to happen, but I see quite a bit of improvement in, with not just the head coaching, it's the assistant coaches. They have a lot of new coaches, a lot of coaches from carryover. You had some good players on the roster. You took care of Max Crosby. So I know you lost some guys, but you had a hell of a draft. You had a really good draft. I think that's a consensus that most people would agree on is that you had a really good draft and you got some young players that are probably going to come in and contribute. Um, I think when you look at some of the stats from last year to this year, I don't think, they were 32nd in running the ball last year. I don't think they're going to be 32nd. So I think
Absolutely not.
I
No,
don't think they're going to be 32nd. They were under 4 yards per carry. I think it was like 3 yards per carry per attempt. I don't think you're going to
abysmal.
get, you're not getting that. So I think the running game, you're probably looking at a running game that on a statistic scale is going to go from 32 to I'll say top 15. If they
Oh
end
yeah,
up
top
with a
half of the league, easy. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So for me, my excitement is if you just get an offense that can be top 15 and a defense that is not on the field all the freaking time, then your defense is naturally going to get better because I do believe their defense was better than what we saw. It's just that they were on the field so much and that they couldn't do it was historically bad, Vince, on offense. And we saw flashes from Aiden O'Connell as a competent quarterback, but he's not elite. And if you don't have an elite quarterback or a close to elite quarterback, you're not going to win a lot of games. And then as a young quarterback, when you don't have a running game, you're going to lose a lot of football games. And they had no options with the running game. It was awful. Going into this year, I'm not saying Geno Smith is an MVP candidate, but you know what? He's one tier below that. He's going to be much, much better than Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. You're going to have a guy that can run around the pocket a little bit. You're going to have a guy that is going to he's going to make some of the easy throws, and he's going to have some opportunities to go deep, and he's going to make his mistakes. I'm not saying Geno Smith is perfect. He's going to make his mistakes. He makes on occasion he makes these boneheaded mistakes, and that's I understand that. I'm baking that into my equation, but you're going to get a better running game just by having Ashton Genty, the first round pick on the roster. Your offensive line has improved. You find Colton Miller got better as the season went on. He was on the pup list. So I expect him to lock it down at left tackle. Jackson Powers Johnson at the end of the year statistically came on as like one of the best centers in the league. He's healthy. So you got a lot of guys that are coming back on the offensive line that are healthy. So I think the offensive line is going to be better. The running game is going to be better. And then you also have got you have Brock Bowers now. You know that is a weapon. Get the ball in his hands, have him do things. The big breakout star that I think is going to happen is Michael Mayer. This guy was one of the highest recruited tight ends coming into college and even out of college into the pros. A lot of people thought he was a steal and showed a lot of potential as the tight end. So I think you're going to see a lot of double tight end stuff, and he's a really good blocker in the wide receiver position. You have Jacoby Myers, who's Mr. Consistent. He does a lot of the things that the 49ers do, blocking downfield, catching passes over the middle, like doing whatever he needs to do to help the team win. And then you add in a guy like Jack Beach, who does similar things, that he's going to do all the dirty work and do everything necessary uh, to move the chains, move the ball. Um, so I see a lot of positivity. I see a lot of competent football. And I think you got a team, you got leadership installed. You're not going to get nonsense out of Pete Carroll. You're not going to get, the Josh McDaniels um buffoonery of play calling. You're not going to get, I was rooting for AP, but you could see some of the moments were just too much for AP. They had these guys that were supposed to be clock management experts, and they couldn't figure out clock management. So I think there's going to be a lot of these boneheaded mistakes are going to be gone. You're going to have interceptions, you're going to have fumbles, you're going to have things that happen. But I think as far as like intelligence, this team is going to be a lot better. You're going to have a team that's disciplined. Pete Carroll, even Chip Kelly. You look at Chip Kelly, you can't really compare this Chip Kelly to what was in Philadelphia or San Francisco. When he went to UCLA, he's running a pro offense. When he went to Ohio, he's running a pro offense. It's not this crazy high tempo thing he did in Oregon and in Philly and in San Francisco. Like he has rebuilt his total offense. He's totally different now. He still has those wrinkles to his game, but I just expect the team to be explosive on offense or more explosive, I'll say. So if you can get a top 15, top 12 offense, you're gonna win some games. You're gonna be sneaky good. I don't know where it falls in wins, but I think they're on the right track. And if you can stack maybe next year another quality draft class, you're right there. You're right in the thick of it. Because we see these franchises that get. I actually think last year actually had a pretty decent draft class, and now it looks like they got a really good one right now. So I actually feel like they can actually be pretty competitive this coming season, but it's next season that I think is what you're looking at. And hopefully you have the ability to make a trade or trade up and get a quarterback of the future. But we'll see. Right now I'm just really excited to be competitive and see what you can do. Not get run out of the building on a weekly basis. So I am feeling a little bit better, a little bit more positive, just because that running game is not going to be 30-second. I can hang my hat on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So right now, Las Vegas win totals have the Raiders at 5.5. That is an easy smash the over for me. You
I
know,
gotta take the over on that.
yeah, that like I think the Raiders probably get to 7 is where I think I have the Raiders at right now. Is like that feels like 5.5. Like that's doable. I think the Raiders are better than that, especially like you talked about. Just having an offense being on the field more is going to make that defense better. Like
Absolutely.
that's the defense is better when they're not gassed at the end of a game. Like just
Absolutely.
naturally. That's
There were
that
so
that is
many
that is
games
step
that
one.
were
Step one. You
there
can't
were
get beat
so
if you're
many
not on the
games.
field.
Absolutely. There were so many games that the Raiders had that were, like, close until it got to, like, the late 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter, and the defense was out there so often, and then the game just blew open.
Yeah,
You can't have that, and I do think the defense is gonna be a little better. I do think the defense the linebacker group and the defensive group, they did not create turnovers with AP. And that's something that Pete Carroll defenses do is create turnovers. You look at historically what Pete Carroll defenses have done, college, pro, it doesn't matter. It's create fumbles, create turnovers, get interceptions, see ball, get ball.
yeah,
And I think you're going to see a return of getting some turnovers for the Raiders. We have not seen that for many years, dude. Like, we have not seen ball hawk capabilities, and I
a
don't know
little
what
bit
it
of
was.
discipline too.
I
You know,
Every
I
time I would see a tackle, like, there's a Raider player making the tackle, but, like, swipe the ball when you're going for a sack the quarterback, but get the ball too. Like,
yeah,
so I just didn't see that other than, Max Crosby doing that. Um, you don't really see that from a Raiders defense, and that is changing. Like, you could, of course, I'm watching all the damn social media videos of what they're doing in camp and how they're practicing and training. So I do expect them to be much better. Much better meaning, yeah, 7, 8, 9 wins. I don't know. We got to see what it looks like, coming out of spring training and injuries and things like
right.
that. And there's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen with the competition too.
Yeah.
Um,
My
but I
my my la-
feel much better. I was rooting for AP, but at this point last year, not bringing back Josh Jacobs, huge mistake. We saw that. To not even offer him a contract after what he gave this franchise, huge mistake to not bring back your all pro running back. So they just made huge mistakes, and how they handled the Devonte Adams situation, to burn that bridge, that was a huge mistake. So that was on previous GMs and coaches. So it is what it is. But I feel like with John Spytek and Pete Carroll, they're finally a program that will be taken seriously
yeah. I
moving
mean,
forward.
I see the AFC West kind of the same way I see the NFC North. You got 3 teams like at the top, right? That are like really good, right? I mean, the Broncos were in the playoffs last year. The Chargers were in the playoffs last year. The Chiefs run that division, right? And then in the NFC North, you had the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers. They were all like at the top, right? Kind of fighting. And then you had the Bears and then the Raiders, right? I see both of those teams, the Raiders and the Bears, ascending a bit.
Yep.
But you can only ascend so far when those other 3 teams ahead of you are right there. And I don't know, like maybe the Broncos fall down a little bit. I don't know. I think I think maybe you think Bo Nix is probably not quite like I don't know what you think about Bo Nix. I know some people think he's better. I think some people maybe think he's not. Like I don't know. I think he's maybe a little bit more for real than other people do. Will I mean obviously that's why they play the games. We'll see how that shakes out. Um, but
I
we
think
don't
Bo
know,
Nix
you know?
specifically I think he's kind of like, this is what he is, and which is
Yeah.
good. He's good.
It's all yeah,
He's going. I think he's going to be a solid player. I don't know if
yeah,
he's ever going to be like an MVP player or anything like that. I think with Denver, their defense is so damn good. They're going to
right.
be in every single football game. So if it comes
Exactly.
down to like Denver having an opportunity to steal a game or get into field goal range, like that's how I look at them. The
Right. Yeah.
Chargers, um, I know they were in the playoffs last year, but I get everybody's hype around Justin Herbert and this and that, but I just can't get behind him, man. I just the Chargers are
Until
gonna
they
charger. I know
until
they
they
got to the
actually do
playoffs,
something. Yeah, yeah. Chargers gonna
but
charge, or just like Cowboys gonna cowboy. I know, I get it, man.
so that's kind
Yeah,
of where I'm at.
yeah. No, no. I think there's a lot of good teams, and it's gonna be tough to punch your way through those teams, at least this season.
You're gonna have to
But
earn it.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to earn it.
You're gonna have to earn it.
I think that brings us just to one. We had one baseball note here, um, and it was on the home run derby. Actually, so this is week old. Actually, at this point, Cal Raleigh won the home run derby, but was it rigged? You heard
It's
about this, right,
baseball.
Sam?
It's baseball. You know it's rigged.
Yeah. No, of course it was rigged. But like, you heard about this specific situation, right?
Yeah, his homer was like a fucking half an inch longer
Yeah,
than
yeah, they went to the Statcast, so they had an algorithm determine that Cal Raleigh hit the ball about 3/4 of an inch further, like on average or whatever, than Brent Rookers did. And you can't have an ath hit it farther than the guy leading the planet in home runs. So and you can't let something weird might happen in a swing off. So you can't let that happen. You can't let something weird in a swing off happen. So you just gotta mathematically put your thumb on the scale, let
that
it
is
happen, let
that
it
is
go.
just
It's just
such a weak,
yeah,
it's so weak. Just give, 5 more pitches, 10 more pitches, and see what happens with 5 or 10 more pitches.
yeah, yeah. No, it's bull crap is what it is, and I hate it.
For it
Um,
for it to come down to a fraction of an inch, if they're tied,
mhm.
give the fans what they want. More home runs. Like
Yeah,
they can't figure
they
it out.
they can't get out of their own way. They keep sitting on their own ball sacks. Like they,
'Cause
they
at
they
the
can't
end of the
help
day,
it.
Vince, at the end of the day, let's say you're banging fucking 500-foot homers and you hit 10. But I come in and I'm pulling everything down the left field line and I'm hitting, 320 down the left field line, but I hit 15.
You hit more
Okay?
homers.
Your
Yeah.
your average is longer,
Hmm.
but I hit more home runs. Like it's like it
Yeah.
doesn't for it to come down for me to believe that the Statcast is that accurate to decide the home run tournament, it's baloney.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what let him get into the next round too. So like the only reason he was able to advance was because of that. Like that was in the first round. Like that was
Yeah.
the first round too. That's just it's ridiculous. And I thought it was important for us to call it out. And that's it. That's the only baseball note that I had. Get it off the screen, Tim. Get it off. We don't want it anymore. Get it off. Get it out of
That's
there.
that's the most baseball I've talked about in,
Yeah. Yeah. We're
3
we're, we're
years.
done with that. Go Savannah Bananas. No, yes. I officially got the email that I did not win the lottery to buy Savannah Banana tickets for
No.
San Diego. It's unfortunate. Maybe next year. They're not able to play in Sacramento this year because the field is being used by some pricks.
Well, I mean, it's working. They're selling a lot of tickets, Vince, and
I'm
it's
sure. I'm
making a lot
sure.
of sense. So,
Sure it is. Yeah. 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 Certainly is. I know it is. Yeah. It's all according to plan. It's all part of the plan. Okay. Take us the hell out of here.
all right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell for alerts so you always know when we go live or release a video. Follow us on Instagram and what's our other platform? Twitter, Threads.
Threads. Yeah.
Follow us on those social media platforms. Send us DMs, send us links that you want to talk about. on the show, we would really appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody. We're on a 1 week break, so we'll see you next
MJF.
Monday.